The technological advancements of today could be perceived as something out of a futuristic novel. Take Face ID, for example. It changed the world of authentication. It has enabled secure login into your phone to gaining access to a building and much more. Cool, right? But consider the case of Joy Buolamwini, a black female computer scientist at MIT. While working on a facial analysis software, she noticed that the algorithm did not detect her face because it wasn't trained to identify a broad range of skin tones and facial structures.
Here's another example. The COMPASS algorithm predicts whether defendants would reoffend. It has been used to assess over 1 million offenders. To be considered unbiased, it should have the same accuracy for white and black defendants and generally any other group. But this graph shows that COMPASS mistakenly predicts black defendants will reoffend more often than it does for white defendants, and actually makes more mistakes than a group of humans with no criminal justice experience. COMPASS worsens prejudice in our justice system when used widely in its current form.
These are all examples of algorithmic bias. Algorithmic bias is a phenomenon that occurs when a computer system produces a result that is systematically prejudiced, often due to invalid assumptions made in the process of data collection and/or software development, frequently reflecting the conscious or unconscious preferences of those involved in an algorithm's creation.
So why do we care? As these algorithms get more advanced, they have the potential to inform decision makers in deciding who gets jobs, diagnosing illnesses, identifying criminal suspects, and much more. As you can see, the stakes of these decisions are high, and it is important that they are made ethically and fairly.
Technologists have, in the past, not had to do much to ensure their work was used responsibly and could get away with obscuring the weaknesses of their work. But with the extent to which biased algorithms have permeated our society, technologists must recognize that they will face backlash if they continue creating biased products.
Bias can enter into algorithmic systems as a result of pre-existing cultural, social, or institutional expectations because of technical limitations of their design, or by being used in unanticipated contexts or by audiences who are not considered in the software's initial design. Some argue that the concept of biased data encompasses too many issues to be useful in fully understanding the unintended consequences of algorithmic bias. In order to develop app-specific solutions, a framework is provided that partitions sources of harm into 5 distinct categories spanning the data generation and processing pipeline.
To mitigate sources of bias, it is important that technologists and other people creating algorithms be a diverse group of people. Only a range of voices and backgrounds coming together can result in a fair product that treats all equally. Teams must be able to cover each other's blind spots.
This means that everyone counts. To create ethical algorithms, technologists must ensure that they seek and create inclusive training datasets so that the inputs are representative of a broad range of the population in order to eliminate as much social bias as possible.
So what is being done? Several key companies in the tech industry are making the effort to address the ethics of AI-powered products and how they affect society at large. Late last year, New York City passed a bill to ensure transparency in AI, calling for the creation of a task force that will monitor the fairness and validity of algorithms used by municipal agencies. The Algorithmic Justice League is a group involved in the fight against algorithmic bias. AJL puts together media exhibits to highlight algorithmic bias, provides a space for people to voice any experiences with coded discrimination, and develops practices aimed to increase accountability during all phases of the software development lifecycle.
What more can be done? We acknowledge that algorithmic bias is a difficult issue to tackle as bias is inherent in all of our perceptions. But together, we can work to address harmful bias by increasing transparency of the technology we use and embed fair practices by engaging with stakeholders.
Algorithmic bias is certainly a difficult problem to tackle, especially because many biased algorithms are already a part of our society, but we can no longer ignore the devastating impact it can have on people's lives. Lawmakers, technologists, and ideators all have equal responsibility in confronting this issue, and together we can call out and act against algorithmic bias at every opportunity.